motion was made by Commissioner Poling that the Park Board of Commissioners approve a 3-year contract with Chicagoland Circulation Incorporated and authorize the Director of Communications to execute said contract, seconded by Commissioner Newton, subject to attorney review and modification. Roll call.
Ayers?
Yes.
Furtado?
No.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling?
Yes.
Solowski?
Yes.
Steines?
Yes,
Motion
with
carries.
correction.
Item C, seeking a motion to approve the establishment of standing committees.
So a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners approve the creation of the following standing committees: capital and development, finance and liability, personnel and policy, and recreation and marketing, that would be seated by the board president. Additionally, the creation of a governance and accountability standing committee that would automatically be comprised of the board president and vice president.
And I, as a reminder, these would be who would be on the committee, so you know who
We
you
want
are.
to make the motion first.
Oh, any questions?
You got to make a motion.
Motion.
Okay.
Okay.
So, is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that Rob?
Yes.
No. All right, so finance and liability, the chair would be Rob, co-chair would be Peter Furtado. Recreation and marketing would be the chair, Janet, co-chair Mimi. Capital and development, the chair would be Larry, and the co-chair would be Pete Steines. Personnel and policy, the chair would be Mimi, and the co-chair would be Larry Newton. And then governance and accountability would be the chair, me, and co-chair Janet.
Is there discussion?
Any discussion on that?
Discussion, how long are these committees supposed to stay put?
The standing committees, we'd be establishing the standing committees. The seating of the committees, as per the memo, would be then through the remainder of this year, and then when we reseat the board back in
So we
May,
annually.
May would be the new president, or
For the
the,
record, can we have some kind of information on case stating that these committees are staying as for an annual basis?
Says on page 2 at the top.
My glasses will be left. Page 2.
Until the annual meeting, so.
These committees will be seated under new business by the board president and remain until the annual meeting in May, at which time they will be reseated.
Okay.
And then also just,
We're not working on fiscal year?
not for the board committees.
our annual meeting is May regardless of our fiscal year, because of when we actually have our elections. Our new commissioners are usually seated in May.
Okay, makes sense.
And then, just so everybody's clear, at the, on the first page, at the last paragraph, these are advisory committees. The scope of the authority is to make recommendations to the full board of commissioners for potential action, just so you're all aware of that.
You know, we're gonna have this presented ahead of time, so we can digest, what's being brought across like a month in advance before it's brought up.
That would be it.
Yeah.
One of the things I would recommend as we move forward is, as we have meetings, we'll have a committee update section added to the agenda. That would be updates, but some things might just be coming through in your policy as stated as normal. They'll be coming through those staffs as recommendations. They'll be seen by the committee possibly beforehand and then brought to the full board for a vote.
But I was just saying to keep all the rest of us to digest, the information that's coming across. Can we, whatever, we have a month leeway in regards to before it's presented out to the.
That would be a change in how we handle things right now. I mean, you're looking for a process to be a month before we vote on an item.
Because we only got a few days to keep just to review all this stuff and make a decision. Maybe give us some more time in regards to.
I guess that would be the decision of the board at this point.
Right, and I'm thinking that would probably be like a case-by-case issue. I mean, if it's a simpler issue,
Oh, I'm just
your
saying.
committee could probably meet one time and figure it out, or something else might drag on.
If it's presented simple, that's all right, but if it's a little bit more complicated in regards to, it would be nice to have a little more time to it.
So as the committees get moving on meeting, that would probably be something internally that each committee can determine based on whatever it is you're looking at the moment.
Okay.
There wouldn't be necessarily a deadline, unless staff says there's a reason there should be a deadline on an issue.
Like I said, it gives time for you to decide and not to rush the vote on matters and so forth.
Any other discussion? Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Steines that the Park Board of Commissioners approve the creation of the following standing committees: Capital and Development, Finance and Liability, Personnel and Policy, and Recreation and Marketing, that would be seated by the board president. Additionally, the creation of a Governance and Accountability Standing Committee that would automatically be comprised of the board president and vice president, seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Roll call.
Ayers,
Yes.
Hurtado,
No.
Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Solosky,
Yes.
Steines,
Okay,
motion carries.
Action item D, seeking a motion to approve the bid award for the 2015 Mayfair Park Site Development. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
What's the motion?
A motion that was made by Commissioner Hurtado, the Park Board of Commissioners rejected bid submitted by Continental Construction as a non-responsible bidder. First one, seconded by Commissioner Steines.
Non-responsive.
Was that your motion? That was your motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read it.
What's the,
All right, I'm sorry. So we need a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners reject the bid submitted by Continental Construction
As a non-responsive.
as a non-responsible bidder. So is there a motion for that? Hurtado, okay.
Second.
Steines, okay. Any discussion or discussion on that?
Can we hold questions still after the presentation? If we probably have one, right? Is there going to be a presentation on this?
It's fine.
Yeah,
Want to give an overview of the
this is Mayfair Park, which I believe is something that was originally put in your capital budget for this particular fiscal year, for the short fiscal year. Part of the issue over at Mayfair is addressing ADA and the age of the park. I believe it's a 1999 playground. Most playgrounds usually need to be replaced in the 15 to 20 years, so this is starting to fall into that category. What they've done in here is kind of reworked the existing playground layout. We've got new sidewalks to address the ADA issues so that you can get into the playground from two different routes. New play equipment, some plantings to kind of soften the edge. If you go out to Mayfair now, you'll notice there's not very many plantings around the edge of the playground. It's pretty wide open. And a new shelter area for it. So to give you an idea of what the playground looks like, it's a little Tykes playground. And I think this was presented to the residents on the 20th of February, it was before I started here, right before I started. And this was the option that they went with on that, so that's Mayfair.
I Maywood Park, at Mayfair Park, with the ADA that was presently written up on these corrections, these improvements.
Yes,
This new park is going to be rectifying all those issues,
yes it is.
and they're not going to be showing up again with a new park.
No, they shouldn't be, no.
Okay, so everything's all covered more or less?
It is, yes,
Okay.
you've got, what they've got over here is what they call a transition platform, so it allows children in wheelchairs or moving assistants to be able to roll up to the area and transition off of their equipment so that they can enjoy the equipment.
Now, is there any kind of handrails or steps going up?
There are some steps and handrails to.
And I noticed a few of our other parks that the gaps between the steps and the bottom of the rail are wide enough where a child can just fall and roll off.
This should meet, because it's a brand new playground, it should meet all of the new requirements
Okay, great.
for playground safety, yes. Those are constantly changing, so that's another reason why we need to look at updating some of our playgrounds, because as the years go by, they no longer meet the safety.
Do we get some kind of a warranty on these pieces of equipment?
I don't know the warranty for the play equipment off the top of my head. I do know when the contractor does the installation, we have an installation warranty of at least 1 year. Play surface, board and play surfacing, if it's Surface America, which you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember exactly who we spec on this. They have it, it's not Surface
Not
America.
board place.
Oh, there's no board in place, it's all
This
mulch,
is fiber.
it's all 5R.
Traditionally, on the play equipment, there is a warranty on manufacturer defect, but as far as any vandalism or anything, then that does come at a
Well,
cost to
vandalism.
the district. So, and usually it's approximately about a 3-year, typically with most playgrounds, it's a 3-year warranty for a manufacturer defect. So then, at this point, then we would need a motion to.
roll call.
We
Oh,
still
do we
got-
not roll call? I'm sorry, I thought we did that part.
So a motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado that the Park Board of Commissioners reject the bid submitted by Continental Construction Incorporated as a non-responsible bidder, seconded by Commissioner Steinitz. Roll call.
Ayers,
Yes.
Furtado, Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling. Yes. Solosky.
Yes.
Steinitz.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And then, okay. So now, the second motion would be that the Park Board of Commissioners award the bid to Forte Systems for $162,232.50 and approve the Director of Planning to execute the appropriate agreements. Okay.
Second.
Okay. So the motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado that the Park Board of Commissioners award the bid to Forte Systems Incorporated for $162,232.50 and approve the Director of Planning to execute the appropriate agreement, seconded by Commissioner Newton. Roll call.
Ayers,
Yes.
Furtado,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling. Yes. Solosky.
Yes.
Steinitz.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we're on item D.
Can I bring up one more point, for the record? Start and finish of this project?
We'll have to work that out with the, now that we've awarded it, we'll have to work out the construction schedule with Forte.
Okay, how long do you think it's gonna, what take? 10 years, 20 years?
No, our goal is to have it in the summer at some point.
As of right now, we have it listed as a June 30th.
I was gonna say, okay, so we're anticipating to be completed by June 30th.
Okay,
So that was our initial in our bid packet.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're on item E, seeking a motion to approve the bid award for the 2015 Four Seasons Park Path Improvements.
So basically, this was part, what this project here is, it's a 2-point project. You have the, you should have come there. It's not, I don't have, you have the layout of what's going on. This is what Emily Brooks had originally presented to the board for the pathway to come from the ADA spots up into the center point of the 2 football fields. The one thing we did add on to this project, the initial ADA project is approximately in the range of about $20,000 of that percent of that. The remainder of that is, seeing we were doing some asphalt work there, and we had on ours the overlayment of the general area by the ball diamonds and the bathrooms. We decided to do this all into one project at this point. So in order to move forward on this, once again, we would be looking to move first on eliminating the lowest bidder due to non-responsible bidder, and then award it to the recommendation, so moving forward.
So the first motion would be that the Park Board Commissioners reject the bid submitted by Continental Construction Incorporated as a non-responsible bidder. Is there a motion on that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion on that part? No? Okay. Roll call.
Ayers,
Yes.
Furtado.
Yeah.
Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling. Yes. Solosky.
Yes.
Steinitz.
yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so then,
Some key construction.
okay, so now the second motion would be to award the bid to Key Construction for $56,065 and approve the Director of Planning to execute the appropriate agreements. Is there a motion? I'll make that motion. Okay,
I'll second.
all right, any discussion on that?
The increases, is the reasoning for the major increases?
From our well, yes, we added more to the project.
Okay, from the first bid to the second bid, leave it up to the other bid?
Oh, you're talking about the difference in the
Yeah,
bid
right.
prices?
Yeah, right.
Going from the non-responsive bidder to the bid we're awarding to?
And the non-responsibility bidder was the reason for, I'm just looking at apples and oranges, what are we getting for this increase?
We're not changing anything, the project's still the same.
Okay, so.
The only thing is,
But it's costing us more,
it's costing more, but it's because the first bidder was a non-responsible bidder, as we investigated the bidder before we decided to bring it to the board for an award.
and the reason for the non-responsibility bid was
Jennifer,
the
would you like to
approach.
share?
Sure. Not quite sure the best way to phrase this, but I know from my past experience and from contacting some other park districts, talking to Todd Stanton, who is from Design Perspectives, they actually listed Tom Todd Stanton as one of their references. He could not give them a reference for the work that they did over in Tinley Park. They actually had to throw them off the job and hire another contractor to come in and finish it. The issues that we had in Northbrook were related to that. They were performance-related issues, and then there were also issues related to non-payment of subcontractors.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah, just for the
Romeo
record
is the same
purpose.
situation.
Any other discussion? Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Solowski that the Park Board of Commissioners award the bid to Key Construction for $56,065 and approve the Director of Planning to execute the appropriate agreements, seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Roll call.
Ayers?
Yes.
Furtado? Yes. Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling? Yes. Solosky?
Yes.
Steiny?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we're on item F, seeking a motion to approve the bid award for the 2015 shelter improvements at Old Renwick Trail and Whisper Glen Parks.
These are two shelters that we had scheduled. One is an insurance replacement. The other is one that was slated to have a shelter placed at the site but never was brought to full completion, so this would complete that. Whispering Glen is the one that was not without the shelter. It's been slated out, it's just an installation of the shelters. Once again, we are looking to eliminate the low bid through the first motion for a non-responsible bidder and then move to the second bid for with our motion.
So we are looking at 2 shelters.
Yes.
So the first motion would be to reject the bid submitted by Continental Construction Incorporated as a non-responsible bidder. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have 2 seconds.
Okay, 3,
I think
4,
we were
okay.
first.
Newton, okay.
Flip coin.
Any discussion on that? No. Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Newton. Roll call.
Ayers?
Yes.
Furtado?
Yes.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling? Yes. Solosky? Steiny?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so the second motion is that the Park Board of Commissioners award the bid to Forte Systems Incorporated for $42,265.44.
Second.
Give it to you. And approve the Director of Planning to execute the appropriate agreements. That was moved by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Poling. Roll call.
Ayers?
Yes.
Furtado?
Yes.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling?
Yes.
Solosky?
Yes.
Steiny?
Oh, yeah.
Motion carries.
Okay, item G, seeking a motion to approve the bid award for the paratransit shuttle bus.
So once again, we have a situation here where we took in 3 bids. First motion for it would be to disqualify the low bidder for being a non-responsive bidder due to the fact that they didn't meet the 9 of the, how many? 12.
9 of 29.
9 of 29? 9 of 12, wasn't it?
No, it says the
29?
9.
9 of 29? Thank you. You're throwing me. 9 of 29 specs as per the bid, and then move to award it to the second bidder, so. the
Can
first
we
one-
open up one question beforehand? No, we're not. Okay, motion to advance now, well.
So I need a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners reject the bid submitted by Southern Bus and Mobility as a non-responsible bidder.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Stein,
The motion was made by Steines and seconded by Commissioner Newton. Roll call.
Oh, no, discussion.
Oh, discussion, that's right.
Okay,
You had a question, I'm
we have
sorry.
a point in regards to, the reason why we're replacing the bus, you know,
This is not our bus, this is the LCSRA bus that we have an agreement with for vehicle usage. They had come back to you, I put that in an update this last week, that they had come and that requested for bus replacement. We put it into our capital fund for this current fiscal year, and that was approved back in May, so this is what we're moving. We still have our passenger bus,
but,
this is the LCA, this is the
Okay,
current bus they
but
utilize.
we're purchasing a bus out of our funds, and you're calling it not our bus.
We're leasing it to them. This, when you're asking why we're replacing our bus, this is not our bus that the one you're referring to, I'm assuming.
Okay, well, I'm talking about the LC,
The LCI, it is still our bus, it's on a $1 a year lease agreement per the agreement.
And, okay, so our district is supporting the full cost. Is Bolingbrook putting up any dollar amounts?
On this one, no, this one came through us and was requested through us, and I don't know if Cheryl wants to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Bolingbrook has 2 other vehicles within their fleet that are Bolingbrook property.
that are not leased from Plainfield Park District that are used for SRA programming. Am I correct? 3, sorry, Jill. There are 3 other buses that are Bolingbrook Park District owned that are within the LCSRA fleet. Only one of the buses within the LCSRA fleet is owned by Plainfield Park District. So they fund and replace the other 3 buses. We fund and replace 1 per the agreement.
Okay.
All 3 buses are being used for the LCSRA?
Yes, correct.
Nothing
4 to
else?
7 days a week, if I'm not
All
mistaken.
3 buses, or just one of the buses, or how many there are buses?
You use the whole fleet?
Bolingbrook.
Yes.
They use the whole
We
fleet.
use the whole fleet. The park district owns a 15-passenger non-wheelchair lift that we also use during the summer because of the heavy use with day camps, so yes, we use them all. And it goes back to having a lot of those off-site programs and special events that we run, and transporting the participants from Plainfield to Bolingbrook for programs, or from Bolingbrook to Plainfield for programs.
And, okay, one more question in regards to the bus, and the reasoning why they want a new bus?
It was at the life cycle and through, they actually maintain the vehicles. It was at the recommendation of their fleet staff that this is at pretty much its life cycle, correct?
Yes, and I know I did research a couple of years ago, because it was asked of me of the Bolingbrook staff as well. I reached out to the other special recreation associations. Those buses, because they're very large, heavy duty, and because of the strain on them with the 4 to 7 day a week use, their life cycle is 8 to 10 years. And it is recommended by our Risk Management Association too, to replace, because we don't want to be transporting participants or patrons in vehicles that are not in the best condition they can be. So, but the life cycle is 8 to 10 years.
Because a lot of times, diesel buses and so on, the motors are just breaking in at 85,000 miles, according to what you were saying.
Motor outlasts the vehicle usually.
Okay, but, okay.
Isn't this a 2006 vehicle? I thought it was a 2006, so.
Well, regardless of age, like I said, when it comes down to heavy-duty vehicles and so forth, they last. You know, even beyond 10 years. And especially with the motor and stuff, they're probably going through 200,000 miles.
The motor, the motor usually can, the body usually falls apart before the motor on a diesel vehicle. And there's other components to
Well,
this.
that's points to tell.
Sure.
Is it that bad?
Yes, this vehicle would be time of year.
And for the record, can we get that information to be put in the file?
What exactly?
Regards to, your expectation regards to a lifetime on the bus, history.
Through her research,
Right.
we can put through her research that.
I got another question. Why gasoline instead of diesel?
Honestly, on that one, we went off the specs of what the special record was looking for at that point, and met the specs that they were looking for that replacement vehicle.
But isn't diesel better than gasoline?
We've used both vehicles in the past. I mean, I would not, diesel is a longer life cycle, yes, I will agree with that. As far
It's
as,
more cost effective too.
I can't answer that question for you I can't answer that.
Next
with
page,
the- I'm sorry?
next one of these,
I'm sorry, let me just finish this question,
I'm
please.
sorry.
I can't answer that question in the respect that I don't know what mileage they're getting on their vehicles right now. I don't have that answer.
Could we table this until we get more answers?
If the board wishes to do so.
Also, we got a question in regards to fuel economies and sort of economics.
That's what I just answered.
Okay, based on, like I said, diesel, gasoline, propane, there's propane buses now out there, so.
Do we
Looking at
have
the,
access to a
adjust of them.
propane filling station?
I don't know what
I don't think we do.
LCSRA has access to.
Do you have access to a propane filling station? I didn't think so.
So this, it's up to the board whether they want to move forward or table.
You know what? Okay.
What is, should we still vote to
There's a
reject
motion.
the
There's
motion?
a pending motion right now.
Right, so right now, we still have a motion on the floor to reject the bid submitted by Southern Bus and Mobility that was made by Commissioner Steines and seconded by Commissioner Newton, so we'll take a roll call on that.
Pierce?
Yes.
Furtado?
No.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poland?
Yes.
Slosky?
Yes.
Steins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
So now the motion to go forward with the purchase, is there consensus to table that for more discussion, or does the consensus of the board want to move forward?
I
Make a
think you
motion.
should have you have to make a motion first, and then second, and we have a discussion, and we decide.
Yeah, motion is-
I was gonna make
There's
that
a motion?
motion.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a
Commissioner
motion to
Stein's
deal with
motion.
this until we get more facts on, the vehicles in regards to, cost effectiveness and in regards to, economics. Oh, green baby, you know.
Is there a second? So a motion's been made to table this until additional information can be brought back to the board, made by Commissioner Steines and seconded by Commissioner Furtado. Roll call.
Ayers?
No.
Can we discuss that?
Oh,
for a
that's
second?
right, I'm sorry. Discussion, that's right.
I'm not clear as to what specific information we're looking for, other than something about fuel options.
Fuel, or the fuel,
Is that the only thing, that other piece of information? we need?
Fuel company options plus, dollar amounts in regards to the vehicles, so.
dollar amounts, I'm sorry.
Are
I
we
didn't
also
follow that
looking for the
question.
depreciation life of the vehicle? You were talking about
Yeah.
how long,
Right.
do we normally, I assume we normally depreciate vehicles financially in our, or,
You want the standard life cycle?
5 years.
by,
I'd like to ask, from the LCSRA, you said you did work, you did, in other words, you did some, you have some information regarding why this vehicle is at the end of its life cycle, correct?
When I spoke with the other special directors about the average life of the vehicles.
Yeah, or what's
Yes.
going on with it?
Oh, with this vehicle
Oh, with this
specifically, Jill?
vehicle?
Can you
Yes,
speak
that
to how,
determined that
can you-
it was time
can you speak to the
replace it?
performance?
Sure. Over the last 9 months, we've had to replace batteries. It has died on 4 or 5 program outings.
The bus died on 4 or 5?
Yeah. I mean, it's just at the point where with the heavy use, it's going on 10 years.
would it be a hardship for you to wait an extra month? Well,
An extra month.
well, see, we're talking about tabling it,
The
so it'd be at
only-
least another month before we would vote on it.
Yeah, all the vehicles do go out June and July for camp. So if, say, this vehicle does break down, then yes, I will be renting a bus so that we can have camp.
What's the mileage? Do you know what the mileage is
I
on that?
honestly don't know.
I think
That
it's
is something.
84,000.
I know the.
I also spoke
Do you go by-
to the mechanic in regards to this, and I don't have a signed document, but the information he gave me was basically, he was really worried that he would have to put a new rear end to this, into this unit. The rust on the body, rust on the mirrors. The universal joint he had questioned, that's original, so that's getting up there in age. The radiator is presently leaking. The shocks are the original shock absorbers, and the fuel tank is also rusty.
Okay.
It definitely, in his opinion, needed urgently to be replaced.
And do you go by hours too for vehicles? No? Okay.
Mowers and different things we do, but
But
not
not this, okay.
trucks and buses and so on. He also gave me his checklist, and it seems like starting in 2011, all the problems started, which is about right, at about 5 years. It started to need a starter, a serpentine belt, so on and so on. And there's quite a list of things that he did repair. I've got 23 pages here of records on this bus, and like I said, it does look like in 2011, which fits the average vehicle per bus. You know, that's when they started having problems, so.
And then keeping in mind that it's March, and if we wait, now we're getting into April and camp starts in June, is that?
I think the mechanic's main concern here was that this bus would be not usable.
Right.
Looking at that question in regards, why are we going with Ford? Why not, what about, isn't Chevy a good product? Isn't Dodge? I don't know, they got Mercedes, vehicles out there too, and, why are we settled with Ford, since we got this much problem with Ford?
Most of the
We're getting rid
buses
of
I
them.
saw out there were either Fords or different makes that honestly I haven't heard of.
Have we had any competitive bids on those? look into them.
Must be good to respect.
We bid it per their spec.
Right, and Central States, Southern Bus Mobility, and Midwest Transit were the ones that